Welcome back, guys, to the True Sports Physiotherapy Podcast. Today's guest was Greg Todd. He owns Renewal Rehab, which is a brick-and-mortar, in-person physiotherapy outfit. But more importantly, he is an awesome PT business coach, and you're going to find out exactly why in this conversation. We talk about the nitty-gritty of how to create a great session, how to create buy-in, but also other revenue streams you can add to your in-person offering. We talk about the idea of memberships, which is unique and certainly intelligent in the sports outpatient orthopedic world. His company is called Smart Success Healthcare. He also owns Smart Success Virtual Services. You're going to hear about it in the conversation. He matches up virtual assistants so that you can make sure if you take his coaching that you're actually going to do what you're learning and put it into play. I think too often we just sign up for courses and don't really embody that it is that we're learning. Greg has solved for that, and there's so much more wisdom coming your way. Check it out. Let us know what you love. Let us know what you hated. Can't wait for you guys to learn from Greg Todd. Welcome back to the True Sports Physiotherapy Podcast. Thrilled to have Dr. Greg Todd with us. Greg, can't wait to learn from you. Thanks for your flexibility. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man. Great to be here. Super excited to be able to talk to you and hopefully help you guys out in some way. So bring some value in some way. Yeah.
Hell yeah. You're going to bring a ton of value because just when I think I'm busy or I have enough pans in the fire, I speak to guys like you who have a million pans in the fire and make me feel lazy. So tell everyone what you got going on just by way of backstory so we know who we're talking to.
Yeah, I'm a physical therapist by trade. I've been a physical therapist for 25 years, going on 26. And just like every single one of you, I was trained to be a great physical therapist. Like, that's what I thought, I'm going to be a great physical therapist. Being a great physical therapist is going to lead to me being the top of my industry. Being the top of my industry will then make sure that money takes care of itself and all the good things will happen, right? And so I quickly realized, it was probably about 3 years in, that me ascending to being the best physical therapist was not going to end in the things that I wanted, which was I wanted to be able to make more money because I started off making just under $40,000 a year as a physical therapist. I wanted more time, which is why I became a physical therapist and not to become a OR surgeon, right? I didn't want to be working weekends. I didn't want this and want that. So I realized that, me being the greatest at certain things was not going to get me the results that I wanted. And so for me, I was looking for just a very fulfilling lifestyle. And that lifestyle is partially work. I wanted to enjoy what I do, but I also didn't want to work all day. There's other things in life that I enjoy besides work. So I realized that probably about 2.5 years in, started questioning things, didn't make any action yet, changed jobs, had lateral moves, until I finally this was my last job I had before I became an entrepreneur in 2005. And in this job, my boss at the time said, look, Greg, you are not going to ascend any more than you are unless you go into management. That's what he said to me. And so I realized that I was at a crossroads. I didn't want to believe what it is that he said. He said, if you want to make more money with us and you want to be in the 80s and 90s, you're going to have to be a regional director this is for an outpatient corporate company. Mm-hmm. And I realized I didn't want to do that because I had just spent tens of thousands of dollars on becoming really, really good at what I do. And what I mean that, if you have therapists listening, I had my CSCS, which I had before I even graduated PT school. I ended up getting my OCS back then you could get it before you finish your first 3 years. So I got my OCS. And then I went on to get my manual therapy certification or do the manual therapy certified courses through the University of St. Augustine. I did that on the weekends. And I was working with the WTA and ATP tour. I was working privately with players. At one point I was working with the number 1, number 4, number 17, number 24. I was working with 6 top 50 players. Okay. Wow. And I was trading all my time for a little bit of somebody else's money. So I realized what it was all cracked up to be wasn't working out for me.
Yep.
And so I decided to do the thing that I said I wouldn't do, which is to become an entrepreneur and I went into PT to not be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And here we are. So fast forward today, I now am, an entrepreneur of 5 different entities, a clinic, consulting services, software company, vacation rentals, and a virtual staffing agency. And the things that I have been able to achieve, I would not have been able to do that had I not understood things that I'm going to share on today's podcast. I'm sure I'm going to share it in some way. So yeah, that's basically the story. And now I help a lot of people do the same. And I say for anybody that is stuck in a time for money trap and feel like they are not making as much money as they should, I'll tell you the first thing you do is you productize yourself. That's it.
You productize yourself. Okay, tell me what that means.
Okay, so productizing is understanding this first. Understanding that us as therapists and us as clinicians, we typically pride ourselves on what our superiors have told us to pride ourselves on, and that is to be unique. That is to have our own way of doing things. That is to be extremely skilled and proficient at our craft. Okay. And that will only take you so far. Okay. All right. Even with you working with the number 1 player in the world, I was still broke.
Yeah.
I was still barely able to take care of my responsibilities. And then now you add a family into the mix. You add a kid, you add another kid. Like, I'm barely getting by, right? So I realized very quickly that productizing is the way to do it. So what is productizing? Productizing is where I have a system and I have a process of how I get results for certain people, whether that is somebody that has a shoulder impingement, somebody that has a hamstring strain, somebody that has patella tendonitis, somebody that has, a back problem, a neck problem. Is there a process that I'm using that can get people the result that they are looking for with about 80% of the certainty of if they were in front of me?
Yeah.
And what I realized that if I can start to create these processes, then now these processes, it's kind of like baking a cake. It's giving someone a recipe, right? The recipe, if it's from Emerald, the chef, right? It's not gonna I'm not gonna ever be as good as Emerald because I don't have 40 years of experience as Emerald. But if I follow his recipe, I could probably have something that's about 75% as good as Emerald, and 75% is going to be enough. Yep. And so what I realized is that if you could productize yourself now, you have detached your income generation from your physical time. Because me as a person, I am limited. I am 48 years old today. When I became a physical therapist, I was 23. I am older. And even though I keep myself in really good shape, I told you, I couldn't do the podcast because I was at the gym. Okay, I can't see 31 patients a day like what I did when I was 23. Yep. Because I am in a shell, and this shell is getting older and older and older, right? So I'm using a limited resource in myself, and I'm using time, which is also limited. So if everything you do is 1-to-1, you're screwed. You're totally screwed. You will always be capped. You will never be able to make the potential that you could make if you just productize yourself. Take your systems, take your processes, understand it's not as good as you being in front of somebody, but it will get them 75 to 80% of the way, and that's good enough. And now that's something that I can help someone here in Clearwater, Florida, someone that's in Jersey City, New Jersey, somebody that is in Maine, somebody that's in Pacific Northwest, somebody that's in India, somebody that's in Africa. It doesn't matter. And now that's when we're starting to cook with gas.
Okay, love that. Okay, so once you come up with your product, well, walk me through this. So a little bit of background. So I run a growing brick and mortar practice, right? We have 15 locations as of today. We have 11 in the state of Maryland. We're in PA. We're in Delaware. We're going to be expanding down into Georgia. We're expanding into Virginia. All of that is working. I come to you and I say, hey, I want to bolt something on to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Where do I start?
I always start with the audience first. So the first thing is I'm looking at, okay, are you guys serving a certain group of people? I'm assuming you're serving more than one group of people, but just tell me real quick, what's the main audience that you're serving?
Yeah, our bullseye is the competitive athlete.
Okay, so the competitive athlete. All right, cool. So that's my audience. So I always start with, all right, my audience is the competitive athlete. I'm going to go through my 5 Ps, right? I'm always looking at, okay, they have to fit the criteria of these 5 Ps for the audience for me to move to step number 2. And that is my audience passionate? Not me passionate, is the audience passionate? Okay. And so a competitive athlete, if it's a skier, if it's a CrossFitter, if it's someone that does F45, it's a runner, I know they're passionate because they have their own language, they have their own way of talking. I know that they're paying money to do the thing that they are doing, right? Okay. Yep. A lot of people want to live their prior life, or they want to redo it. So the competitive athlete, fantastic. All right, we hit the first P. That's good. Problem. Are there problems that they have that I could solve for them in some capacity? Maybe not at 100% accuracy, but in some capacity, if I wasn't in front of them, physically in front of them. Okay, we can answer that. Yes, that is true. All right, profit. Have they paid money to be able to enhance their body, to correct issues with their body? Are they willing to pay money? Because just because you have a problem doesn't necessarily mean people are willing to pay money for it, right? Okay, so it's like my problem might be like, man, I want something entertaining, right? All right, and then some people, I mean, they'll buy Netflix and they'll get a Netflix, shoot, for $14.99 to $19.99. Okay, cool. But then there's some people like, look, I have that problem. I want to be entertained. I'm not entertained right now, but I'm only going to get free stuff. Like I'm going to go on TikTok or I'm going to go on Instagram, right? I'm not going to pay for a Netflix account, right? Unless somebody gives me their password, right? So with your audience, are they willing to pay for the problem? Okay, if you can answer yes, good. Now we're on to step number 4. Now it's presence. Who already are the go-to people for that audience? Who are the go-to? If there's none, red flag. Red flag, because that means that I might be talking to just me, right? Yep. If I know that there's already somebody else out there, I'm looking at that first. It's not saying you can't win with other people not doing it, but you don't have proof that the market actually wants this, okay? And then the final P is pathway. Where do they congregate? Where is the competitive athlete that you're looking for? Are we talking about competitive runners? Are we talking about competitive triathletes? Are we talking about, we might be talking about all of them, but triathletes hang out in different places than marathoners, right? Marathoners hang out in different places than people that are trying to race and do sub 15 5Ks, okay? Those people hang out in different places than rock climbers. Rock climbers hang out in different places than CrossFitters. CrossFitters hang out different places than F45 people. So it's just understanding where's the pathway where I'm going to go and bring value to these people, because they're having water cooler talk. And if I can get in their conversation, now they can see that I can solve a problem for them, and then they can potentially pay me for the solution. So that's the first step. I know it sounds like a lot, but today with AI, it's that used to take my clients weeks for us to research and get. Now you can get it in a matter of like 20 minutes. You can get everything. And get that. But that's basically where you start with. Now, if you have multiple groups, you have to create multiple buckets of answering those 5 questions for each of the audiences. So you start there, that's audience, and then you go to the offer. The offer is the next step. The offer is, okay, well, what could we provide for people right now? So let me take your situation, all right?
Yep.
You have 15 clinics.
Yep.
Okay, you have 15 clinics. You've probably got a myriad of different groups of people that you see. What's an offer that you could create like right now for them? Well, I'll tell you how I did it in my clinics, okay? So what I did in my clinics is, it's very difficult to go from brick and mortar, and you have sold people on this idea of, you got to see us, you got to see us, you got to see us, to then, oh, now go online. That's a hard sell initially, right? So what I did is I made it a hybrid. And so I had space in my clinics, and I created, it was a program called TheraFit. So it's fitness based off of therapeutic exercises, okay? And so it was actually very similar to F45. This is I started back in 2005, 2006, right? And it was circuit-based training using the types of rehabilitative exercises that we do in traditional physical therapy. And so what I did is I just would create WODs, workout of the days, for clients. You can join our membership, and that would be part of the membership, okay? And when we did our evaluation, I framed it from the evaluation that, look, you're starting here. Like right now, you can't move your knee. Right now, you're in a brace, okay? All right? And our goal is to get you out of that brace and to get you to where you are running again. But here's the key. The work that it takes to get there is more work than it takes to stay there. But there is work to stay there.
Yep.
Where I don't see a lot of clinicians doing that. They're just saying, we're going to get you pain-free. Well, okay,
Then what?
Great. And then what? Okay. Yeah. And then, okay, we're going to work with you and do progressive overloading. Okay. Well, then what? So we have this term that I think is satanic. It's called discharge. I think that term is, it's not real. Like, it's not real. It's not like I'm like, oh, like right now, I'm going to F45. It's not like I'm at F45. I'm like, yeah, once I get to March and I hit 15% body fat, I can stop. I hit my goals. No, you can't.
Yep.
Like you can't. If you stop, you automatically go to the negative.
Yep.
So you have to set it up to letting people know from the get-go that, look, we are going to do the work and we have a process and we have a success path to get you there. But when we get there, which we will, to stay there is work as well. So now that sets you up for the thing that I think your clinic could do and your clinics could do is a membership. Mm-hmm. And a membership is where you would do a combination of what I just said, whether it's at your clinic or it's at home or a combination, and you give people a Q&A. You give them a Q&A to where they can basically have you on retainer. There can be 45 minutes to an hour that they are speaking to you in a one-to-many format. You can come here for your questions. If you can't make it during that time, we will text you a form for you to actually put your question in, and then you can listen to the recording, and we can basically, we'll call you out. If you want to stay anonymous, you can stay anonymous. We'll answer your question. Basically, you have us on retainer, just like how you have an attorney on retainer, just like how you have your doctor technically on retainer, right? And you have that through a membership. And so that would probably be the simplest way for you to get something up. You have multiple locations, something very simple to do. You can make those hours that you are doing the membership during low census clinic hours. So they're sitting around doing nothing anyways. Mm-hmm. Let them, at least, bring some value to people. Maybe initially the first month or so, you give it for free so that you're showing people there's massive value to this. You can reactivate your former clients saying, hey, listen, you want to come back in or you need a therapist, but you know what? It's not worth it. I don't know if you take insurance or not. It's not worth it getting a script, doing this, doing that. Hey, why don't you just hop on our call? We'll give you the first month for free because you're a valued member. Come on our call. We'll help you with whatever problem that we have, obviously within the confines of us doing this virtually, and boom. And, just think, how many clients are you guys seeing collectively between all the clinics?
Visits will do 12 to 13,000 visits a month.
12 to 13,000 visits a month. How many unique customers is that for you? Are they coming twice a week, 3 times a week, once a week?
Yeah, let's say average 2 to 3 times a week.
2 to 3 times a week. So let's just say if it's 12,000 and they're coming 3 times a week, you probably have, I'm assuming you probably have, 1,000 unique customers, at any given month. Yep. So the goal is if you can get 25% of those people, if you framed it right and you train your people, you can get 250 new people going into a membership every single month. And you're talking a membership that would be somewhere, I like to price it low enough to where they're not even thinking, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I can do this, but high enough to where it actually matters. So it'd probably be somewhere between 10 to 50 bucks a month, to start with. And then as it starts to grow demand, you can make it up to $100 a month. But let's just say we started off at 25 bucks a month. And you have 250 people. You're bringing in, an extra potentially $50,000 a month to your practice, at that scale. Once you get it going, it's not like it's going to happen right away, but
sure.
And that's really, there's no extra expenses with that. It's not adding any therapists. It's, so, you got a big establishment, right? But most people, they've got 1 clinic, 2 clinics, they're solopreneurs. They could still bring in an extra $500 to $2,500 a month, for an hour of their time.
Yeah.
That's a great gig, man.
So great idea. My initial question is, so these are patients that have graduated from their acute injury?
Yeah, well, it can be. It can
Okay.
also be people that are currently in therapy as well. Here's one thing that we do at the clinic. Okay. So one thing we do is we ask people, all right, you're here obviously for physical therapy, all right, but would you be interested if we had um, nutritional consultative services that could help assist and aid with your healing? Would you be interested if we had, um, you know, we have thrown to them, other services as well, like functional medicine, regenerative, healing, like any of those things, right?
Yeah, the
Anything that
add-ons.
could potentially, yeah, anything that could potentially aid them in getting their results faster that they're looking for. So you can ask them that in their intake form. And if they say yes, then that just opens it up for that to be what they would get consumed in with regard to their membership. So it doesn't have to be just people at the end.
Yep.
It can be people from the beginning. It's just how you position it. And when you have a lot of therapists, you're not having everyone treat out 100% capacity. Make them do the thing that they want to do. You want to know what I realized? Therapists don't want to market.
Yep.
Most of them don't want to market. But what they want to do is they want to talk about how much stuff they know. Cool. Well, then make me money with it.
Yep.
Right? So it's a win-win for everyone.
Okay, it's a great idea. What kind of pushback do you have from people that sign up for your consultation? You pitch them on this membership idea, which I think is a great idea, something we've toyed with in the past at True Sports. What are some of their questions or hesitancies around it?
Yeah, I mean, first thing is, you guys take insurance?
Mm-hmm.
You do? Does insurance cover this? Okay, that's going to be one of their first things. Oh, is it covered through my insurance or not? Okay.
I assume your
And
answer is no.
the answer is no. It's
Yeah.
not covered through insurance, but I treat it very similar to how it is when I go to a dentist's office. Okay, when I go to a dental office, they basically tell me, look, I focus on the result first. I focus on look, this is not mandatory. Okay. Insurance. So first of all, I don't toy around with the question. The answer is no. Insurance doesn't cover it. Okay. But the reality is that most people, you're paying for each visit because you're trying to get said result. Okay. The things that I'm recommending for you to do is for you to get either said result faster or for you to keep said result so you don't have to start over. Okay. So for the people that remember now, the majority of people that are coming in, we're not trying to pitch anybody on anything. What we're doing is we are just creating a roadmap for people so they know. By just doing that alone, we have positioned ourselves totally different than all of our competitors because most people aren't doing a roadmap. What they're doing is they're just saying, let's see how next time goes.
Yep.
And let's see how next time. And they're selling every time, whether they say they're selling or not, they are.
Yep.
They're trying to convince people. What we're doing is we're saying, let's create a roadmap from the get-go. This is what it's going to look like. So we are pre-framing them for them to understand that there is work to stay there. It's not as much work as it is to get there, but let's not forget the work to stay there so we don't have to go back to square one. So we are framing them that the membership will be something that they should consider. Number two is we believe in persuasion, not convincing. Persuasion is, and the way we do that is we do that through showing them a success path, and we ask them, where do you want to get dropped off in a success path? Do you want to get back to running a half marathon? Are you cool with just running and doing fun runs? Are you cool with being able to do intervals and do mile repeats and do hill work? They're all different things.
Yep.
Whatever one you want, we're very clear of telling them, if you want that, you're going to have to do this level. If you want this, you're going to have to do this level. If you just want to be pain-free, honestly, man, we could probably do that in a week to 2 weeks with your problem, right? And so what you have to do is, if you can clarify that, the way we do that is through a pyramid, okay? By showing people there's 4 different tiers, and based on what you're looking for, this is the tier we would have to go for. It creates so much clarity for people that they haven't gotten with any other providers that usually sets us apart. So it's not a sell. It's just them being like, oh, well, that's what I have to do. I didn't realize that. And then it makes it pretty easy. It makes it pretty easy from there.
Listen, I love how results oriented it is, right? Like, you're selling them a result. You're not selling them necessarily like And by the way, you don't have to resell them every time they walk in.
No,
Like you've
it's the
already
worst,
sold them.
man.
Yeah, it is the
Yeah.
worst, and it's a massive
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. It's a huge issue. It's here's my motto: buy once, cry once. Right. Okay. So it's like, if I can just tell people, look, this is what it's going to be. And by the way, when I go to my dentist, this is what they say. Like, look, dude, you've got a hole in your tooth.
Right.
Okay. So here's the deal, man. You're going to have to get a crown, but before you get a crown, we actually have to do an implant. So here's the process. Here's how it's going to work. Okay. I mean, this is what we're recommending. You don't have to do it. You can actually live with the hole. I don't want to live the hole, but oh my God, it hurts so bad. Okay. All right. Well, this is what we would recommend for you to do. We recommend for us to extract the tooth first. Okay. Then you're going to have to do this, which is going to have to be some bone stock. Then we're going to have to go ahead and put in an implant. Then we have to actually wait. And then once we wait, we actually take the ceramic implant, we're going to put it in. And then after that, we put in a crown. It is about a 6-month process. Oh, okay. But at least I know what I'm signing up for. All right. Here's the deal. You have insurance. Your insurance is MetLife. Your insurance is going to allow you to get this amount. Okay. The actual full thing is going to be about $12,000. What? $12,000. Yep. And your insurance is going to cover $3,000 of it. You don't have to do it all, but you just have to be okay with the results of not doing it all.
Yeah.
All right. So how do I do this? Okay. Well, this is what you're going to have to do. Do you see how they were able to do that? Yes. It honored that they take my insurance. It honored that they made me responsible for my insurance. Said, hey, dude, this is what your insurance can do. You don't, and by the way, you do not have to do the whole thing. If you don't mind having a hole in your tooth, don't do it.
Yep.
You're cool, dude. You can, you'll be okay. I mean, honestly, we can probably numb it up. Might get a little infected there or whatnot, but we can numb it up. You'll be fine. All right. And your insurance will cover that. Oh, I don't want that. Okay. Well, then just
here's what it costs. Dude, first of all, we could do a whole pod on what we can learn from dentists. They have figured out a ton, but like, that's a great, I never really thought of it like that. So I appreciate you bringing it to light, that they have thought about the process and the way in which they sell very succinctly. It's very tight. And you're right. They leave it up to the patient. The patient makes a volitional choice. I think it's very different than some of the sales processes we see elsewhere. I'll tell you another thing that they nailed. We need to see you twice a year.
Right. We as therapists are always like preventative.
Yep.
We say that in our water cooler talk with each other.
Yep.
But our presentations don't show that.
Yep.
Right. We're like, they're basically telling us, look, if you don't see us twice a year, your teeth are going to fall out eventually. We're not saying it's going to fall out this year. That's it. But it's a buildup, man. Right. And so here's the deal. We have heard that for so long that now we have bought into it.
It's what we do.
And when you have therapists all over that nobody's looking long term, they're only looking short term. They're not looking long term. It hasn't created this community awareness that, look, man, if you don't take care of your body will eventually keep the score. Okay. And so we haven't done that. There's too much inconsistency within.
What sucks is they promised me when I was in graduate school by 2020 we would figure this out and we would be talking like dentists, and it never effing happened. It drives me nuts.
I mean, but you know something? You want to know what they did? They sold very well.
Yeah.
Right. What they did is they created a success path for us. Yeah. The success path was called Vision 2020. By 2020. If you just buy into this doctorate, if you do this, you do that, by 2020, everybody will respect your decision making. Everybody, you'll be doing radiology reports for people. You'll be giving anti-inflammatory medication. You remember that?
Yes, I remember it. I remember it too well.
Listen, man, I went to school from 1997, PT school from 1997 to 2000, the end of 2000. Okay, they were selling that then. Okay, they were selling it then. Vision 2020 was the thing. And you know what? A lot of us bought into it. All right. I did it initially. Okay.
Yep.
I kept my bachelor's while a lot of people, but there was an option to go for the doctorate at that time. And so, a lot of people bought into it. Hey, I don't think that they maliciously did that, but it didn't happen. But what they did do right is they did sell us on a success path. And that sounded really good to us. Now, here's the reality. The reality is that the things that I just discussed over the last 20 minutes, If you want all those things to happen, the respect, the authority for you to be at the same peer level as your contemporaries, whether it's physicians, it's OBGYNs, it's cardiologists, et cetera, you're going to have to learn how to become a decision maker for your patient base. Because when you become a decision maker for them, they start to look at you to make decisions.
Yep.
If all you are is a technician to them, they just look at you to do a thing. And when you start to make decisions, you start to build a personal brand. And when you build a personal brand, they start to tell other providers, I look to this person to help me with making decisions. Now you become extremely valuable to other providers because they know that you hold weight.
So first of all, listen, you hold weight. So you're absolutely right with that. I think one of the mistakes we've made, and this is a question I had for you later on, but one of the mistakes we've made is we have said we're great at getting patients out of pain. Had we said, or should we say, that our job in this medical journey is keeping our patients well, just healthy and well, we are a massive hub. And when you say hold weight, what you really mean, I think, or what I think about when you say that is we are the referral hub. The orthopedist has to come to us and say, I know you're getting all these ACLs. They're coming to you and asking you where to go. Can you send them to me? Dude, for my entire career, it has been the reverse, I'd say, outside of the last few years. So, like,
Right.
if you can make that decision and become the musculoskeletal wellness expert, health expert, all of a sudden we are the hub. That gives us the power. So I love that. Let me ask you a question on some of the things like that you outlined with my 5 Ps. I love that. I love that framework. I think that's really powerful. As a manual guy, right? You went through all this manual therapy, continuing education. Tell me where you fit in the hands-on care that we've been told is so important for eternity.
If you're treating someone, because I'm a manual therapist,
Yep.
you're treating someone, the hands-on care is just a part of the treatment. It's just not the whole treatment. What I see with a lot of manual therapists is that they use their hands to communicate instead of their mouth.
Okay, tell me more.
Okay. So basically, when you think of here, you know what? I won't even put you on the spot. I'll just tell you what.
Put me on the spot. Put me on the spot. I'm good with that.
All right. When I would evaluate someone for their shoulder, I would touch by their tuberosity, or I touch between their greater and lesser tubercle, and I would feel for their bicipital tendon, and I'm doing certain things, and I'm not saying anything, but I'm doing this, and all their ooh, ow, ooh, 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 right? I'm raising their arm and trying to maybe hit it towards their acromial head, right? I'm trying to hit it, like just doing all the things that I would do to provoke or whatever. Okay. And what we will do is we will do those things through our manual touch.
Mm-hmm.
If we are treating, and that's from an evaluated process. If
Yep.
we're treating, we're now treating, and we're treating through our manual touch, right? So we can evaluate with our manual touch, we can treat with our manual touch. And all those things are important, and those are part of the process. What I have just made sure that I do is I make sure that I have the 4 T's in every single treatment, and touch is only one of the 4. Okay, let's talk about the other ones. Is that cool?
Yep. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
You
So-
love multiple letters.
Yeah, because I know that I'm a teacher and
Yep.
an educator over a practitioner. That
Yep.
is 10x my income of me just identifying as a teacher and educator that happens to do physical therapy work instead of a physical therapist that on the side does a little instruct here and instruct there. Nobody respects you because you don't teach them anything. You
Mhm.
don't empower them. And if people aren't empowered, then they're like, okay, like you do a good job. Oh, he's got great hands. If people are saying that about you, that's fine. But guess what? You have great hands.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
great hands won't get you clout with other providers. Great hands won't get them referring tons and tons of people to you because of your ability to make big decisions. People that can make big decisions get paid big bucks.
Yep.
People that are technicians, you are now competing against the massage therapist at Massage Envy.
Yep.
You're competing against, like, People don't know the difference. So basically, the big thing that I do is I do the 4 T's, and one of the T's is touch.
Yep.
Okay, and touch is extremely important. But touch is not just touching for evaluative and treatment, methods. Touch is also giving people a handshake, giving people a hug, depending on what you feel comfortable with. Letting people know that I want to meet you at your level. I don't want you to think I'm here and you're here.
It's connection.
Okay? It's just connection. All right. So that's touch. All right. Now, the next T is to thank. This is something I train all my therapists to do. Thank. Every single visit. I know that every therapist is building their brand. They're building their reputation. And even if you suck, if you just come across as a super grateful person, not only is it good for them, it's good for my therapist as well. Thank you, Mrs. Smith, for coming in today. Thank you for committing to your rehab journey. I mean, I just told you that, hey man, I'm going to be at the gym. Like, one of the things I love is I love when I go in, and every single time I go in, they reward me for going in. I mean, if they weren't rewarding me and thanking me for being there,
yep.
If they weren't doing that, I would have just said, man, look, we can do the interview. Yeah, we can do it. It's okay. I can cancel. No, I wanted that. I love that. And so I don't see enough people thanking their customer base for actually investing in themselves. They just automatically assume, of course you come see.
Of course you're coming to me.
No.
Yep.
Okay. No. Thank. So thank is huge. Okay. So we have touch, we have thank. All right. Next one is this: teach. Teach. Every single session, I need to make sure that I'm empowering my people to where you don't need me, but you'd rather do life with me.
I like that. Where do you get that?
I don't know. I just made it.
That's good.
I don't know. The ones that I do that I got it from somewhere, I promise I'll let you know. But yeah, like, you don't need me, but you'd rather do life with me, right? I mean, It's true, right?
Yep.
I mean, I don't want someone to be reliant and dependent on me, but at the same time, I want people to understand that, dang, if he taught me this, what else does he know?
Yeah.
By the way, it's how I do my consulting as well. Like, I'm not like, okay, we're doing a podcast. This podcast is free. Let me only give them 3 of the P's and not 5. No, bro, I'll give you everything. I give you everything. Obviously, like, I can tell people everything, and some people are still not going to do it, right? Okay, so I know that I've got one shot. You've got one shot with me. I've got one shot with you, and I know that I better bring it. So I'm going to teach them, and I'm going to make sure that when they leave, like, look, I don't know how your bicipital tendon is going to respond with a 100% certainty after 6 weeks of treatment. But what I do know for certain is I know that I will give you a level of awareness, and I can, at least for this particular issue that you have, I can make you an entry-level clinician by the end of the 6 weeks, at least with understanding it.
Yeah. Now, are you okay? So these are unbelievable tips, but what I feel like I'm hearing is that you're supporting the one-on-one interaction, but you're also saying, no, I want to create.
I'm setting up. Yeah. So in your case, where you guys have the one-on-one, you cannot try to fight people on doing the one-on-one initially. In order to build the one-to-many that we built, we had to start it with the one-to-one.
Yeah.
With the one-to-one, but there's certain things you have to do. Now, here's the problem. The problem is most people don't respect most clinicians. Okay, I don't want to do a blanket statement, but they don't respect most clinicians for their ability to empower them. Most clinicians feel as though I need people to rely on me, because if they don't rely on me, they're going to stop coming. So they don't make them empower them. Well, guess what? That means that when it is time to now position an online program, they're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only value they've ever gotten is with you being in front of them. Okay. So in our one-on-one treatments, I am empowering them for teaching, because I know that I am going to eventually move them into a potential membership program that is going to be a lot of teaching. If they don't value the teaching from the one-on-one, why would they value the teaching online?
So listen, that's a great point. Also, your 4 T's, and I'm dying to hear the fourth, but so far your 4 T's, yes, you're talking about physical therapy. This could easily be marital therapy. Like these are the hallmarks that are outstanding relationships.
Right.
Touch, thanking, showing appreciation, teaching. I can't wait to hear the fourth, but you make a great point. What you're building is not therapy. You're building a great relationship. Those are the people that are going to buy from you.
Yeah. I mean, think of, you said you have how many clinics now?
15.
15?
15.
Right?
15. Yep.
Okay, 15. I wonder, of the 15 clinics, how many lifers you have.
How
I'm
many
talking people, lifers. I
patients?
call them lifers.
Patients or
No,
people?
I'm not talking about just patients, right? I'm talking about lifers. I'm talking about the people that are just constantly telling other people, you
Yeah.
got to go to his place. You got to go to his
Flying
place.
the flag.
You got to go here.
You got to fly the
they're
flag.
flying the flag. Right. They fly the flag. I love that. Okay. How many lifers you have? I think one of the things that people don't realize, okay, because not everybody's at 15 locations, okay? Most people aren't, and most people will never be there. But what I think people also realize is they struggle with their depth perception, meaning that they think to get to $250,000 in business, which again might not be a big deal to you, but to many people,
it's a big
it'd be
deal, dude. I'm not sneezing at 250 grand.
Okay. But how many people do you really need to get to 250 grand? You know what you need to get to 250 grand? You probably need about 3 to 5 lifers. Lifers are people that everywhere they go, any chance they get, they're talking about you guys.
Yep.
They see somebody with an ankle boot on, they're talking about you. They see somebody they're talking about you. Here, I'll give you a perfect example of a lifer. I mean, I'm in consulting, right? So I had a client, right? She was actually my boss on the WTA tour. Okay. All right. But she's now a client of mine. She has a practice. And she was at a hotel here in downtown St. Pete and on St. Pete Beach. And she was just at the pool. She meets a guy. Her and her husband are there. They meet this guy and his wife. And he says, oh, I have a roofing company in Chicago, right? And so she goes, oh, you got to talk to this guy. This guy is my coach and he does consulting and he helped me build out all these conversational AI tools to use within my clinics, and it's been a game changer and all this other stuff. And I'm about to talk to the guy tomorrow. It's going to be a 6-figure deal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about as a lifer. A lifer is any chance they get, they're talking about you. They're talking about you. So my point is that if you don't do these 4 T's, which I'll tell you the fourth in a second, you're not even giving yourself a chance to create lifers.
And by the way, so I totally agree with you. And I would argue you don't get to 15 clinics, you don't get to however many therapists that you're looking to get to without lifers. I think that should be your mission. Like your mission when you wake up as a therapist is, how am I going to create the next person that walks in into being a lifer? And like I always say, it is 90%. Does the patient want to hang out with you? Do they feel your mission and do they feel that they want to help you? That's the lifer you're describing. So tell me the fourth T.
The 4th T is tell. That's what it is. Yeah. Tell me the 4th T. The 4th T is tell. Okay. So what is tell? I like to treat every single treatment session as an episodic treatment session. It's an episode. When I was growing up, I'm not sure if they do it they kind of do it. Like on Netflix, they'll sometimes do it. So if you watch a Netflix show, they'll be like previously on such and such, right? Okay. And then they do the show, right? And they kind of lead it up, might show something from episode 1, 2, 4, 6, and now this is 7, right? Mm-hmm. So it kind of gets you caught up. Okay, this is what's happening. And then boom, we get into the episode, right? And then at the end of the episode, right? Whether the episode's 40 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever. The end of the episode, a lot of times they'll say next time on blank.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an episodic session. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do with treatment. So for treatment, what you do is you tell them from when they come in. Now, how we do this is, I told you earlier, I do a pyramid. And in the pyramid, I'm letting people know, okay, the last week or last time you came in, what we were working on is this. You're at level 2 of the pyramid. Today, we're going to continue to work at level 2.
Yeah.
We're going to be focusing on this. This does not take more than 45 seconds. Okay. But it's letting them know what we've done, and it's building it up before we actually start the session. The majority of therapists, they go right into it.
Lay on the
Come
table.
on, Matt, get on the mat.
Yeah.
Go to the table. Go to the treadmill. Go to the elliptical. Okay. Right? They're not setting it up. Okay. And then, again, 45 seconds. Then they go through their treatment, and then it's like, okay. Now at the end of it, it's like, hey, this is what we did today. We're at this level. Next time, we're actually going to be, it's going to be our last week next week at this level, because you are now going to be ready for level 3.
Yep.
Okay. That's called episodic. That's called telling. And what you're doing is you're getting people pumped up, excited. Today, when I was at F45, they said, hey, at the end of class, at the end of the group class, they're like, hey, if you haven't already signed up, we're starting our challenge. Our challenge is going to start February 1st. It's going to go for 45 days. We're going to do this and that. If you sign up with me as a coach, we're going to get started a week early, right? And boom, we went over there, quickly signed up. Yeah, Gene's going to be our coach. Okay, right? It was ending the session with a tell, right? This is what's going to happen next. Makes you excited. Oh my gosh, man, I want to get a head start on this job, right? It's little things like that. So those are the 4 T's. And if you can train your clinicians to execute out the 4 T's, by the way, collectively, they're just all part of the treatment, all right? Okay, touch is going to be the biggest one. Obviously, you're going to be doing that, okay? Thanking people, teaching them, and then telling them what we've already done, do the session, what's next. You do that, you are now positioning yourself as a decision maker. Now your brand is building. When your brand builds and everybody else's brand is building, now the company's brand is building, now you become unstoppable.
Greg, really powerful stuff. I bet you this is in your training, but to take it one step further to those listening, how important these keys are to creating a great session. We've done a number of pods on that, and these are the hallmarks of them. It will also decrease your cancels because you have teased it. You've told, that's another T. You have teased the next session, right? So they want to come back. Greg wants to go back to that 45. How important is it to get your front desk or your admin, however you're doing that, to be doing very similar things? Hey, here's today's appointment. On your way out, the next appointment is this. Just keeping you up to date. Here's where we are with insurance, etc. The more you can, your front desk, thank you so much for coming into True Sports. Have a seat. They'll be right with you. Really appreciate you coming in. All that stuff. It's not just the PT. It's got to be the admin.
100%. And maybe, I'm not going to say it's even more important, but it is equally as important.
Yeah.
Is to have them, because they are the first point of contact and they are usually the last point of contact. Okay. And so usually whatever you do in between can be butchered.
Yep.
Based on the first and the last.
Yep.
Right. And so that's it. You want to know what's so funny? Whenever you see a Marvel movie.
Yep. Yeah. They give you a teaser.
They give you a teaser. They give you a teaser at the end. Nobody leaves. Right. Because it's going to set up for the next one. Right. So the movie could suck, but everybody comes there for the teaser.
Yeah, you want to see the next one.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
this is gonna happen, right?
For
because
sure.
Sometimes it, like, even if you screw up the stuff in the middle, if you just do that part at the end right, that's the last thing that people remember. So yeah, going to your point, admin are extremely important in this entire process. The more consistent you can be throughout, just the better results you're going to have. But if you're doing all those things, you're becoming an ultimate decision maker. When you're an ultimate decision maker, people are going to value your ability to make decisions. When people value your ability to make decisions, now they don't feel as though all of your value is just you physically being in front of them. And that opens up the door to all the online things, all the different informational things that you can sell people. If you don't do that, it's going to be like hitting a brick wall.
Greg, unbelievable framework. Where the F were you 11 years ago when I was opening this thing? I mean, this is really fabulous. It's a great plug for what you got going on. By the way, I was teaching, I was helping teach an ACL course up in Jersey 2 weeks ago. I was talking to some clinicians that really were struggling on the business system side of things. This is gold for them. Okay, so yeah. Nick, if you're out there listening to this, go check out Greg Todd's stuff, right? Dan in Arizona, go check out Greg's stuff, because it's really like there's a ton of gold here. So I appreciate all that. I want to close with lightning round because I got to go blow my head off while I coach middle school girls basketball after this. So okay, ready? Quick hitters, Greg. And I know you haven't seen these because I didn't even give you enough time to review them. Ready?
Yeah.
Give me the best resource not named Greg Todd on PT entrepreneurship.
I would probably say Paul Goff.
Okay. Well, you cannot use his name again. Paul, Goff.
Gough.
I was way off. Okay.
Yeah. I'd say Paul Goff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you love about him?
He's built multiple clinics in England, and he lives here in the States.
Hell yeah.
So to be able to do that, to be able to have the clinics going and be not only in another city, not even another state, but another country, is pretty impressive.
That's really impressive.
Yeah. So I'd say
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Okay. I have down here the worst resource on entrepreneurship, but I'm not going to ask you to name someone who you think sucks. I'll say, what are the biggest mistakes that you see in the PT business consulting sphere?
I think the biggest mistake is thinking that consulting is going to lead to transformation alone. I can coach you all day, but if you don't, you can know all this stuff, but if you don't execute on it, we're going to have problems. And so, I told you earlier in the podcast that I have a virtual assistant staffing agency. The reason why I have that is it was from a problem that I had. The problem I have is that I can tell people this is what you need to do, but they still need to execute on it. And right. So a lot of people don't have the ability to have a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 employee helping them with these things. And so I think having consulting without the ability for you to give them the resources to execute it is pointless for about 80% of people.
Okay, so I sign up for Greg Todd, right? Renewal Rehab or Smart Success, right? Yep. I sign up for Smart Success. You give me some foundations, you give me some outlines of what I need to do, and I turn around to you and I'm like, dude, it's just me in a clinic. I can't do this crap. Yeah. Your response is, I have your staff right here at a fraction of the cost on the virtual assistant side.
Yeah, or even better, I put it in the program. So part of the program is you get the VAs, you get the actual person doing the things with you.
You should be doing.
So so it's like, and by the way, the reason why I know that works so well is because that's what I did. My first ever online program I took was from a lady named Shalene Johnson. And what I did in her program that nobody else did, there was 850 people that took that program that year in 2016. I was the student of the year of 850. Obviously. I wasn't any smarter than the people. No, but the reality is I wasn't any smarter. I'm really not that sharp. What I am though is I understand I had clinics and I'm not afraid to invest. And I just hired some VAs from the Philippines and said, hey, I'm learning this stuff. Great. I'm going to basically tell you what I learned. Go do it. So everybody else was learning. It's like, yeah, it's great, but they weren't doing anything because they don't have the time, right? So I hired people to do it. So I understand that. Remember what I said, buy once, cry once. I understand that if I'm going to make someone invest in me, you're either going to do it very, very cheap, or you're going to do it to where I'm actually going to do the stuff for you. Done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Love it. Okay. Something you've changed your mind on in the last 5 years.
Oh gosh, something I've changed my mind on in the last 5 years. I would probably say that this has nothing to do with, well, maybe it has something to do with PT, but I would say that time doesn't mean as much as what I thought it meant. Let me put it like that. Time does not mean as much as I thought it meant. I could be doing the same thing for 10 years over and over and have absolutely no progress. I can do something for 1 year and have more progress than I had in 20.
Give me a PT example of that. It's really good, but give me a PT example.
I'll give you a personal and a PT. So on a PT side, you could say, you know what, the way that we get clients is by going to markets. Maybe we go to markets, maybe we go to gyms, and that's how we get our clients, and we do workshops, right? And that's the way that we get our clients. So, you know, great. When I'm fully busy, I can't do it because I don't have time to go to do workshops. When we are really slow, I got all the time in the world to do workshops, right? And that's what I could be doing. I could say, hey, this is what we've always done. I did that in year 1. I did that in year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right. And just because you did it 10 years in a row doesn't mean that like you're going to go from 1 clinic to 15 clinics. It doesn't mean that, right? Now, let's just say I decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to change things up. I understand that, you know what, doing workshops is one way. That's an organic way of doing things, but I'm going to add some other things. Maybe I'm going to add Facebook advertising. Maybe I'm going to add Google advertising. Maybe I'm going to do some partnerships. Maybe I'm going to start a podcast like what you did, right? Okay. And I'm switching it up. I can get 3, 4, 5 times the results of what I did over 10 years of doing this one thing that worked, but was capped, versus saying, hey, over the last 4, 5, 6 months, I've now added these other verticals and I can get 2, 3, 4, 5x the results. That's what I mean by it.
Love it. Okay, great examples. Last but not least, who do I need to have on the next podcast? You can't say Paul Goff.
Ooh, who do you need to have on the next podcast? I would say this. I'm going to give you a couple of names. I'm going to say Perry Belcher.
Okay.
I'm going to say Qasim Aslam. And I'm going to say my brother, Mark Todd. Okay. And here's the reason. Here's the thing that these 3 people have in common. They are not in healthcare.
Love it.
They're not in healthcare. I have never been a part, even though I run healthcare consulting programs and masterminds, I have never been a part of a healthcare mastermind. Everything that I have shared, if you all are listening and you have found value in what it is that I've said today, every single thing that I've said today, I've either learned or was inspired from someone outside of healthcare. And I think that healthcare professionals are listening to other healthcare professionals, and we're all in the same echo chamber. And I don't think that's really good. So I am going to encourage you to bring non-healthcare providers on and get their outlook on things. Maybe for you, because you're doing a lot of clinical stuff, bring somebody on that maybe had an ACL and what was their experience and how did they look at it? What was their experience prior? Maybe what was their experience during? Maybe someone that just had it. What are they? I think people would get so much out of that than just hearing from other healthcare providers that are all saying the same thing. We're all having the same show, the same thing. So I think for me, I can say that that's been a game changer in my career, is learning from people outside of my industry.
Dude, that, first of all, great ideas. Second of all, what's your brother do for a living?
My brother's in digital marketing and he owns real estate.
Hell yeah. Okay. Definitely got to talk to that guy. He better be as effusive and gregarious as you are. Okay. So that's super exciting, but you make a great point. Like, we just sat on here and bitched about what we learned in grad school business wise and them talking about 2020 and selling us a bill of goods, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is when we just live in this echo chamber, to your point, we can be led astray and we're not able to pull from all the amazing resources outside. I ran this company for 5-6 years and could not read a profit and loss statement. Didn't even know what it was. Didn't know what a P&L was. I took a program called 10,000 Small Businesses by Goldman Sachs. And I sat in a room with other entrepreneurs, not one physical therapist, and learned how to run a business. Like, the only way you can really learn is trying to open up your eyes to what's outside. So that totally lands for me. My next call is Mark Todd, and I'm not going to screw up the scheduling.
Okay. I love it. All right.
Okay.
I'll let him know.
You let him know. And then what I'm going to do, Greg, is I'm going to hit you for the questions I need to ask him specifically about growing up next to him. I cannot wait to get that inside intel.
That'd be good.
Okay. Greg, tell our audience of thousands of sports physical therapists across the world where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at smartsuccesshealthcare.com. I'm actually, I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but I am doing a summit. It's something I do once a month, but I'm doing the next one this upcoming Saturday. It's going to be at smartsuccesshealthcare.com/summit. It is free. It is teaching you 3 different business models that I have inside of my businesses and what I've taught, over 5,000 customers that I've had in the consulting business today. And that is online products, that's memberships, and that is solution-based offers. And we don't have time to go into that right now because we've already went an hour, but I'm going to be teaching that over the summit. I'm going to do it on a Saturday because most people are working Monday through Friday, and I want to be able to condense it. So I'm going to do it over a couple hours Saturday morning from 10 a.m. To 2 p.m. And it should be awesome. So smartsuccesshealthcare.com/summit.
Okay. What else? What about Instagram?
Instagram, you can find me at Greg Todd PT. YouTube, find me at Greg Todd PT as well. Pretty much all the platforms, Greg Todd PT. And, I try to just give as much value as I possibly can. I know 98% of people will never become my customer. And I just want to serve all 100%. And 2% will, and that's cool too. But just try to help people and give them the things that we didn't have at our disposal when we were in school and even out of school.
I love it. Okay, Greg, you've been awesome. Thank you so much. Look out for this episode coming up probably end of this week. See how I'm telling you what's going to happen? And I'm thanking. Okay. Just practicing.
You're doing 4 Ds, man.
I'm trying. Greg, you've been great. Thank you so much. Everyone out there listening, you obviously love this episode. Let us know what you love. Let us know what you hated. True Sports PT on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye-bye.